Welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling two essential steps in mead making: oxygenation and degassing. These techniques are key to crafting smooth, flavorful, and stable mead. Skipping them can lead to off flavors, carbonation issues, or fermentation problems. But don't worry, whether you're a beginner or experienced mead maker, I'll guide you through everything you need to know to perfect your mead making process. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more mead making tips. And as a thank you, grab my free ebook, Mead Making at Home Easily, using the link in the description below. When you first mix your honey and water, creating what's called the must, oxygen becomes your yeast's best friend. Yeast needs oxygen to reproduce and build strong cell walls, enabling them to handling the stress of converting sugars into alcohol. This is especially important in mead making, where honey provides minimal nutrients compared to other fermentation bases. Yeast uses oxygen to synthesize sterols and unsaturated fatty acids, which strengthen their cell membranes. Oxygen helps yeast process nitrogen and other additions like fermento, ensuring efficient fermentation. Without sufficient oxygen, you risk sluggish or stuck fermentation, incomplete sugar conversion, and unpleasant off flavors like sulfur compounds or fusel alcohols. So oxygen versus aeration, what's the difference? These two methods serve the same purpose, but differ in technique and efficiency. Oxygenation. This involves injecting pure oxygen directly into the must using an oxygen kit, oxygen tank, regulator, and diffusion stone. It's precise and ideal for high-gravity meads or larger batches. Aeration. This introduces oxygen indirectly by exposing the must to ambient air through vigorous stirring, whisking, or shaking. It's effective for small batches, but less concentrated than oxygenation, as ambient air contains only 21% oxygen. For example, a high-gravity mead with a starting gravity of 1120 benefits greatly from oxygenation, as yeast will face significant stress in such a dense must. Yeast only needs oxygen during its lag phase, which occurs in the first 24 to 72 hours after pitching. Introducing oxygen beyond this window can lead to oxidation, resulting in flavors reminiscent of wet cardboard or sherry. Here's the optimal timing. At the start of fermentation, oxygenate or aerate immediately after pitching yeast. Use an oxygenation kit for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Stir or shake vigorously for 3 to 5 minutes. Repeat oxygenation or aeration 12 to 24 hours after pitching to ensure yeast have sufficient oxygen for reproduction. Stop introducing oxygen once fermentation becomes active. Example, bubbling or airlock activity. Beyond this point, oxygen risks oxidation. For precise results, use a dissolved oxygen meter to ensure 8 to 10 parts per million of dissolved oxygen during lag phase. The importance of degassing. As fermentation progresses, yeast produce alcohol and CO2. While some CO2 escapes naturally through the airlock, much remains trapped in the mead. Degassing removes this excess CO2, which is critical for flavor balance. Trapped CO2 can create harsh, acidic flavors due to carbonic acid formation. Excess CO2 can cause pressure buildup, leading to popped corks or even dangerous bottle explosions. Removing CO2 ensures your mead is safe for long-term storage without carbonation-related issues. There are several ways to degas your mead, depending on the batch size and available tools. For manual stirring, use a long wooden or stainless steel spoon to stir your mead vigorously. Look for bubbles rising to the surface. This indicates CO2 escaping. Continue until bubbling slows significantly. Carboy swirling. Gentle swirl the carboy to release CO2. This method is effective for smaller batches and minimizes oxygen exposure. A drill-attached stirring wand. Attach a stirring wand or wine whisk to a drill for efficient degassing in larger batches. This tool agitates the mead, releasing CO2 faster than manual methods. A wine saver vacuum pump. Use a vacuum pump designed for wine preservation. Attach it to your carboy or fermentation bucket to create a vacuum, pulling the CO2 out of the mead. This is an affordable and effective option for home mead makers. Pressure fermentation and spunding valves. How they differ from airlocks when fermenting mead. Choosing between a spunding valve or an airlock depends on your goals and the equipment available. Both devices allow for carbon dioxide, CO2, while protecting the fermenter from contaminants, but they function differently and offer distinct advantages. The Spunding valve is a pressure regulating device designed for fermenting under pressure. It automatically vents excess CO2 once a specified pressure level is reached, maintaining constant internal pressure. This makes it ideal for use with pressure-related fermenters such as stainless steel vessels or kegs. In contrast, an airlock is a simpler tool that allows CO2 to escape freely through a liquid-filled chamber while keeping oxygen contaminants out. However, it doesn't control pressure and is better suited for traditional fermentation at normal atmospheric pressure. The key differences and advantages of Spunding valves are retention of aromatics. Spunding valves preserve delicate flavors and aromas, maintaining pressure during fermentation. Airlocks allow CO2 to escape more freely, which can lead to loss of volatile compounds. Carbonation control. For lightly carbonated meads, Spunding valves provide a precise control over how much CO2 is retained in the liquid. Airlocks release all CO2 into the atmosphere, making them unsuitable for managing carbonation. Spunding valves release CO2 gradually and automatically eliminate the need for manual degassing, such as stirring or shaking. With an airlock, CO2 escapes freely, but excessive buildup may require manual intervention. Both methods prevent oxygen exposure, but the sealed pressurized environment of Spunding valves offer superior protection, especially during long fermentation periods. Fermenting under pressure with a Spunding valve can reduce the production of undesirable byproducts, such as fusel alcohols, resulting in a cleaner and smoother mead. Airlocks remain a reliable choice for traditional fermentation setups, such as carboys and buckets, where pressure control isn't needed. They are ideal for making still meads, beginner setups, or any process where simplicity is the priority. So in summary, Spunding valves are best for fermentations that benefit from precise control, flavor preservation, and carbonation management, making them a great choice for sparkling or aromatic meads. On the other hand, airlocks are straightforward for standard fermentation processes and still meads. The right tool depends on your specific goals and the equipment you have on hand. Degassing frequency varies by batch, and here's what to look for. Heavy bubbling. If bubbles are persistent after stirring, repeat degassing until bubbling slows to a light fizz. After degassing, let your mead rest for 8 to 12 weeks to stabilize and allow any remaining CO2 to escape naturally. Some mead makers enjoy light carbonation. If that's your preference, you could skip or minimize degassing. Keeping an airlock on your fermenter naturally helps release the CO2 while preventing oxygen from entering. Small batches can be degassed manually, while larger batches benefit from tools like stirring wands or vacuum pumps. Some tips for beginners. Don't assume that fermentation alone will expel all CO2. Active intervention is often required. Be cautious about introducing oxygen during degassing, especially after primary fermentation. Proper degassing significantly improves mead flavor, storage, stability, and safety. So in conclusion, oxygenation and degassing may seem like small steps, but they have a huge impact on the final product. By properly oxygenating your must during the lag phase, you ensure healthy yeast activity and smooth fermentation. Likewise, effective degassing removes unwanted CO2, enhancing flavor and preventing storage issues. Mastering these techniques takes practice, but the results are worth it. Whether you're stirring manually or using advanced tools or fermenting under pressure with a Spunding valve, the effort you put into these steps will shine through every sip. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and grab my free ebook, Mead Making at Home Easily. Cheers to your mead making success. Also, if you're interested in more mead making tips, check out my other mead making videos over here. Happy mead making.